Hello and welcome back to In My Unprofessional Opinion TV. As always, I'm Colin and today we have a fantastic interview lined up for you. Before we get to that, guys, don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It is a massive help for us and it'll help us to grow this channel. Hopefully, get more eyes on the product and we'll get more and more high quality interviews for you. Speaking about high quality interviews, today we have the former ICW Tag Team Champion. He was a former Pro Wrestling Elite Heavyweight Champion and he has represented Scotland in the Commonwealth Games back in 2018, and he's also a current Ring of Honor superstar. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Hendry.
Hello.
Hi Joe, how's it going?
Hey man, not bad. How are you? How are things? How are you getting on?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Just powering through as you have to at the moment, I suppose.
Are you in your fourth year now, or
Masters?
Oh, Masters. Oh shit, nice one, man.
That's how long it's been, mate.
I know, Christ, mental.
Oh, tell me about it. So what about you? How are you been coping through all this? What you've been doing to kind of keep yourself ticking over?
I'm doing not too bad, mate. I've been, to be honest, I've been heavily involved in starting some businesses and stuff. So I've just I thought, while I'm not able to wrestle, I'll just kind of scratch the itch that I've been wanting to do, like business projects for a while. So I've got a few things set up now that are doing pretty well, and then now I'm keen to just get back to wrestling,
I know the feeling. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to get back to wrestling just with the knee. Yeah,
Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that, man.
I've kind of came to grips with it a bit more so that I can.
What was it that happened? What was it that happened to your knee?
Completely tore the ACL, and it's just not.
Oh shit, man!
It's just one of those ones. It's fine to do activity, but it's like kind of wrestling. It would be for me to do it. For me to do it to the level that I would want to do it. It would be a struggle. So I've kind of resigned myself to the journalism route and trying to still be involved in that sense.
Yeah.
So try to still be around. But
sorry to hear that, man.
Okay, sorry, mate. It happens. I appreciate that, but
yeah, no, you were really good, man. I always wondered, what had happened, but no, you were good at what you did, man.
I tried my best. It kind of leads us into something I'd looked into before obviously talking to you. That you were obviously my first ICW match.
Oh shit! There you go.
ICW Futurama, which was 6 years ago in November. That'll be 6 years since that match.
Wow, that's nuts. That is insane, dude.
It's absolutely mental.
God.
Obviously, I'm not doing it now, but you obviously went on to have a tag title reign in ICW, as well as many different titles across the UK, most notably kind of the PWE heavyweight title. What kind of stands out between you starting and now? What kind of stands out as the main moment for you in wrestling?
A career high, or like a turning point in the business, or?
Well, it could be what was the kind of the point where you kicked on, and then what would be your career high so far?
I mean, my career high, I would say that it depends on what metric you look at in terms of, from a business perspective, getting signed to Ring of Honor was a huge thing for me. But I would say the single day that was, there's 2 days that really stand out. One is opening up the Hydro with my custom entrance. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I'd say the main one was, wrestling Kurt Angle in the main event of a pay-per-view. Watching Jim Cornette commentate. That was pretty wild.
That's one of those surreal moments that you dream of when you're a young guy.
It's pretty nuts, man.
Especially when you look at it, it's freaking Kurt Angle. It's nuts. With regards to wrestling, Kurt Angle, he and you kind of have a similar background, and wrestling wise, you obviously did amateur wrestling, your freestyle, and it was your Greco-Roman as well. How you went and represented Scotland at the Commonwealth Games in 2018. How was that whole experience for you?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I actually had no amateur wrestling background. I started amateur wrestling probably after we wrestled, actually, which is, again, pretty wild. It's just a strange way that life can work out. I just saw an opportunity, and it was actually, it was when CM Punk signed to the UFC, and I thought, wow, at the time, there was only really one major organization.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, this is the competition, is to be a legit athlete. So I had done judo before, but I first started amateur wrestling in 2014 or 15, I think it was. And yeah, representing Scotland at the Commonwealth Games was something I wish I'd taken more time to enjoy at the time. It was just such a high pressure situation, and I think having only been in the business for or having only been an amateur wrestler for like 3 years leading into that, it was a lot of pressure. I think I made it to become a 2-time British champion, but I think becoming Commonwealth champion was just a gap that couldn't be closed. Doing it a couple times a week, part time, when you're working a job and a pro wrestler,
Yeah, there was all the chat as well that kind of took over social media with Robert Whittaker as well taking part. Well, obviously it turned out that he didn't take part in the Commonwealth, and you were obviously drawn against an Australian like that.
Yeah.
What a feather in the cap that would be, just to say that you competed against Robert Whittaker.
Well, at the time, Robert Whittaker was the middleweight champion.
Yeah.
And I called him out. And, as you know, I was drawn against Australia. So, I mean, Robert Whittaker, you just never know what could happen. If I had like a 5% chance of beating him, a 10% chance of beating him, it was worth rolling the dice, because if I had... You'll have certain moments in your life that will completely change the trajectory of your life, and that could have been one of them. I knew that if I faced Robert Whittaker, like win, lose, or draw, it was going to be something that was going to add to my brand quite significantly. But if I was to, able to get that 5% chance of beating him, can you imagine if a pro wrestler had beaten the active UFC middleweight champion? That would have just, you're talking about. That's like, not that it's the same level of achievement, but that's when you're starting to enter, you look at what Brock Lesnar did. And if you can beat the active UFC middleweight champion, because the truth is, not a lot of people watch amateur wrestling, whereas a lot of people watch UFC.
Yeah.
So that could have taken my career in a completely different trajectory. But, life is just about the journey, isn't it? You just got to respond to the hand that you're dealt and play the best cards that you can. And that's what I did. I didn't come out on top there, but I tried my best.
Well, that's all you can do. And as you say, if you were able to have that moment with Robert Whittaker, that everybody has a chance. You've always got obviously there's no punching involved, but you've got a puncher's chance when you're in any kind of fight. So
absolutely,
if a professional wrestler like yourself had went in there and even held their own against Robert Whittaker, because you do find that the guys that jump from professional wrestling to mixed martial arts, most notably the UFC recently, it's not the stand-up that they struggle with. It is the actual wrestling aspect, or the jiu-jitsu, that kind of the actual mixed martial arts portion of it. That's the bit they struggle with. So it would have definitely been a massive feather in the cap.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I was able to capture the British Championship in Greco and freestyle, and really, to be honest, that was my goal was to go to the Commonwealth. But it's more difficult, in my opinion, it's more difficult to win the British title than to qualify for the Commonwealth Games. So to win 2 British titles for me was, as a pro wrestler, I remember I met Dave Meltzer, and he said to me, I've never heard of anyone do it in the order that you've done it. Usually someone has a legit background and then becomes a pro wrestler, not the other way around. So that was a pretty cool like you say, feather in the cap.
And with the amateur wrestling, obviously, I saw your tweet earlier this month where you've kind of stated that you will be focusing 100% on your pro career. So that can't have been an easy decision to make, or was
Definitely not.
Was it an easy decision for you?
I think now it feels like an easy decision. At the time, I think the thing was that the only reason I wanted to do the Commonwealth again was because I felt at my new weight class at 125, I thought I could win. Sorry, I'm in a park here. It's I've got the dog out, so apologies for that. I'm having to multitask. He was greeting. But it was, in some ways, an easy decision because I only did it because I wanted to win. Like, going to the Commonwealth Games wasn't enough. I thought to myself, you know what, at 125, because I faced a guy who went up to 125 and got a bronze, and I felt like I could beat him, and I just thought, man, I can do this. I know I can do this. But the problem is, we didn't have, while there were other nations who were, training every week throughout COVID, like we had. Like my MSP had told me it was fine to train and all this, that, and the next thing. But for whatever reason, we didn't have access to facilities this time. The team last time was awesome, but this time the team didn't have access to a facility until a few weeks ago. And I thought to myself, I'm under contract to Ring of Honor. I'm not going to put myself in harm's way when I've only had like a couple of weeks of training. I just thought, nah. I was like, I'm not in a position to succeed here. So, it's sometimes I think you just have to go in the direction that the wind's taking you. So I just thought to myself, it's just not my time for amateur wrestling. I think I will come back to grappling sports. Like, I would like to win a championship in judo, actually, which is where I started, Yep. So I'd like to do that at some point. But for now, it's I'm all in on professional wrestling. So yeah, it was a tough decision, and it was hard to let go. It's hard to walk away from potential Commonwealth selection, but it was without doubt the right thing to do. I have no regrets about doing it.
That's the main thing. As long as, and obviously you're extremely good at what you do. You wouldn't be at Ring of Honor if you weren't. So it's not as if you're going to something lesser. You're going on to a major promotion, and you're obviously already there at a major promotion in the world in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Going into how you actually got the Ring of Honor. So obviously you'd worked for them a couple of times before you actually signed.
Yeah.
When you started the program in ICW with bringing on Leighton as your assistant and things like that, did you know that Ring of Honor were interested in signing you, and was that always the way that storyline was progressing?
No. Okay. Actually, to be honest with you, I left ICW. Well, I basically, we don't have notice periods in wrestling, but I have them because I don't like to just, walk out on a promoter or anything. But I think, to be honest, it was just I kind of felt that I had served my time in ICW. I felt like I'd got to the point where I was ready to, be a main eventer. And, for me, I just felt there's only so many times that you can lose before your fans start to lose faith in what you're doing. And, after the square go, I just decided it was time to move on. And I had a lot of amazing opportunities at ICW, and the creative freedom was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the right time for either of us. It was time to go. It's just like the territory days, it's like sometimes you just know when it's time to go, and it was time to go. So I was working for there was the kind of world of sport thing was going on. We really thought that was going to be something. But that kind of stopped after a series or whatever. So we're kind of left in limbo wondering what was happening. And things with Impact, it was a great experience, but I just didn't have a visa, So there was always a limitation into what I was going to be able to do there. I could only do Canadian and Mexican tapings. And it just got to the point where I just kind of felt, I can contribute I want to kind of get my teeth stuck into something here. And I'd really enjoyed working for Ring of Honor a lot. And I remember having a conversation with a trusted friend, and he said, what do you want to do? And I was like, I wanted to sign to Ring of Honor. And then I just decided to pick up the phone. I let them know that I was a free agent, because I think there was some confusion about whether I was a free agent or not.
Right.
So I created a YouTube series called Free Agents Until Leave Absolutely No Doubt.
Yep.
And then I called Ring of Honor, and I was, it was at a time where, there was a lot of moving parts in the business. There's like new promotions arising, people leaving, and it created some opportunities, and I was fortunate enough to get one of those opportunities. So the deal was done in about 5 minutes on the phone. Deal done, contract over, signed it, and that was that.
Always makes it easier, especially when you've got them.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, with ICW, on the way out, it was very important to me to elevate Leighton as much as we could. I thought that's going to be the most productive use of time. So I wanted to go out there in a way that elevated somebody else.
It's that way about giving back as well, isn't it? Like when you're on your way out, you're putting someone over, and kind of trying to bring them up to that level as well. Because that was obviously the biggest, probably the biggest match. I don't think he would mind me saying it that Leighton would have had at that point. And obviously a great match between the two of you, and always a great story as well throughout the whole kind of program. It was done really, really well, and we've seen what he's went on to do now, and being a Zero G champion, and probably will go on to do even more things. I think he's probably one of the most talented guys in ICW at the moment.
He's got it. He's got it.
It's one of those that you can't really see what or know what it is, but when you see somebody that has it, you kind of.
Well, I think the thing about Leighton is like there's that thing, that it factor, and he has that.
Yeah. Now
there are some people who have the it factor, but they haven't taken control of the things they can control, such as, your in-ring or your physique and stuff like that. Whereas what Leighton's done, he's got the it factor, but he's also made sure he's in great shape, and can have great matches,
Exactly. You mentioned your creative freedom in ICW. I was present for quite a lot of it to watch it. What's your favourite moment, non-wrestling? Because you're obviously very, very famous for your entrance music and making entrance music for other people. Like videos across YouTube. Everybody loves to see them because they're hilarious. The majority of them. You. What's your favourite one? What's the standout?
For me, there's a few for different reasons. Like the one we did on the Wee Man, did that in 3 hours, video and audio, which was pretty nuts. So, But the Pokemon one was fun because that was we filmed it on my dad's phone, and we recorded it on my dad's phone. So basically, the vocals that you hear in that song is literally just me singing into an iPhone.
Right, okay.
It was just I had some decent software to mix it afterwards.
Yeah. But
we left the house. It was something like, I think, 4 o'clock or something like that. And we were back in the house by 4:45. It's just the best. Sorry, I'm in a park here.
It's okay.
The best ones are always the ones that just happen easily and quickly.
Yeah.
The ones that are laborious, you're trying to find something that's maybe not there. The ones that just click, it's easy and it's funny. It's like a knife through butter. Those are the great ones.
The one that always sticks out for me is the one with Harto and Liam Thompson.
Yeah, that was a fun one. For sure.
It just, again, as you say, it just clicks purely because everybody in that building knew how much Harto loved his dog.
Yeah.
And It's one of those ones. Like that one's the one that kind of specifically sticks out to me. The wee man one as well. Just the Butters from South Park.
It was a great moment when he was smiling and exited the ring, and it was like the fans just. You get that peek behind the curtain, and that was a lot of fun.
Especially if you see him break, and you never saw him break. Like, when he's Lionheart, he's Lionheart. But that was fantastic. With Ring of Honor, obviously you're there now. You wrestled Donovan Dijak, who is now T-Bar in WWE, and Jay White, just as normal matches. And then you had Silas Young as in a TV title match before he even signed. What is the next step for you? What is your goals? Because you strike me as obviously a very goal-motivated person.
I mean, I think to take the next step in my career, what I've done is I've really bulked up massively. Like I'm up at, I've probably put on about 60 pounds, which is just now it's the process of, getting that to a lean 60 pounds. So I've put in a lot of muscle mass, but there's, I need to lean that down. So, but my goal is to go back as like a super heavyweight, basically, because to be honest with you, I'm pretty much the same weight that Lesnar was when he fought Shane Carwin. You know what I mean? So it's never a size I thought I'd get to, but it's cool. And I've kind of changed up my moveset, and I want to come back, and I want to shock people with the stuff that I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So I don't have any goals in terms of, I want to be this champion or that champion, because I've always said all that stuff throughout my career. And I think winning a title is a bit like getting in a relationship. If you try find one, it never comes. Whereas it's always when you're like, we'll see what happens. That's when you end up falling into a relationship, when you're not looking for it. And I think it's good to be goal driven, but the problem is there are so many outside factors that you have no control when it comes to getting a title in pro wrestling. So you really can't put all the pressure on yourself. All you can really do, if you can be the best version of yourself in ring, on promos, entrances, physique, everything, good things are going to happen, and you need to trust that. And if you're in a promotion, so for example, if you're in a promotion where you feel you're doing all these extra things and the rewards are coming, that's the beauty of, there's different places for wrestlers to go. So it's like, I think people will have more success if they put the pressure on themselves to be the best versions of them. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, I watch Ring of Honor's product, and the quality is going up and up and up. And it's like, it's stepping up to a new level, man. I need to bring my A game, and I need to bring something that people have never seen me do before. So I'm excited,
Perfect. And I'm excited as well. I watched everything, even though I wasn't there. I was watching everything with ICW. I've seen you obviously on World of Sport and Impact and everything. I kind of look forward to obviously seeing what you do in Ring of Honor. It's one of those ones. You were one of the first guys that took me in a wrestling ring and looked after me. You weren't very long in the business. You were only a couple of years at that point.
Yes,
as well.
Crazy to think that. Yeah,
it's obviously you're someone that I kind of keep tabs on, as well as the booty and stuff like that. So it's good. It's brilliant to see you obviously doing well, and both outside of wrestling and also inside the wrestling. So hopefully that keeps up for you, mate.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the kind words, and hopefully this helps. And sorry for all the outside noise. My dog was greeting. I was just like, oh Jesus, I'm gonna have to take him out.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gents. That was Ring of Honor superstar, the prestigious one, Joe Hendry. A massive thank you to Joe for his time with that interview, and hopefully we'll get him back on the show again soon. Once he's back in the ring, hopefully at some point this year with Ring of Honor. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for how Joe's getting on. Guys, don't forget to like this video down here, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully as we continue to build, we'll get more and more interviews like the one you've just watched. Also, don't forget to visit our social media channels. You'll be able to keep up to date with everything that we're doing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be able to keep up to date with all the interviews that we're doing, and hopefully start to build this community that we're hopefully going to keep working towards. Guys, hit that bell for your alerts as well once you subscribe, because we do have a massive interview next week that you will not want to miss. Until that time, guys, stay safe. I've been Colin. This has been In My Unprofessional Opinion TV, and we'll see you next time.